Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here. In LinkedIn news, apparently it's mostly AI posts, at least those that are over 100 words. And this is according to Wired, specifically Kate Knibbs of Wired. And I think this is an interesting one. And if you're a longtime listener and follower of mine, you probably know that LinkedIn is my most active social media platform. And it is, for the record, my preferred platform. And I'm not a big fan of basically having AI tools write things for me, LinkedIn included as well. But I do find this interesting, and I do think this is a sign of the times. And quite frankly, if LinkedIn is going this way as well, where, quite frankly, we're a professional network, I think this is a real harbinger for what is going to happen. And so with that, let's dive into essentially the study and the stats that Kate Knibbs of Wired was able to put together for us. Good article, Kate. And with that, LinkedIn, if you didn't know, is owned by Microsoft. And essentially, they are embracing, as I mentioned, AI. They are offering their premium users or subscribers, that I would be one of those, access to basically their in-house writing tools that can, quote unquote, rewrite post profiles and direct messages. And yes, every time I post, I have a little symbol that says, rewrite this with artificial intelligence. I actually tried it once. I was not satisfied with that, so I used my original post because, quite frankly, I write a lot, and so I'm not going to use an AI, but here we go. And it really does seem like the AI is taking over LinkedIn as well, because over 54% now of longer English language posts on LinkedIn are most likely AI generated, according to a new analysis that was shared with Wire by AI detection startup Originality AI. Now, it's just that kind of corporate speak style of AI writing on the platform that can essentially be tricky to distinguish from genuine human-penned thought leader blogging. Now, Originality scanned a sample of 8,795 LinkedIn posts over 100 words that were essentially published between January of 2018 through October 2024. Don't know if I was one of those that was scanned, but obviously I'm writing myself. So, for the first few years, for the record, the use of AI tools on LinkedIn for writing really wasn't on the radar. Now, a major increase obviously happened with the ChatGPT boom, and that is essentially the name of the game here. It's rewriting the way we are using and utilizing artificial intelligence. Large language models are, ChatGPT being that one that put it on the map. Now, at that point, Originality had found that a number of likely AI generated posts had spiked 189%, and now it's starting to level off. LinkedIn also says it doesn't track how many posts on the site are written or edited with AI tools. And according to Adam Wakowitz, this is LinkedIn's head of, quote, feed relevance, which apparently is a job. Okay, I didn't know that. And I quote, "But we do have robust defenses in place to proactively identify low quality and exact or near exact duplicate content. When we detect such content, we take action to ensure it is not broadly promoted. We see AI as a tool that can help with review of a draft or to beat the blank page problem, but the original thoughts and ideas of our members that our members share are what matter," end quote. And okay, that's great, but just using that tool a couple of times, just to see it. And for the record, nothing I've posted has ever been written by AI. I've always backed it out and used my own words. It really tries to pep me up in some way or lower me down or whatever, but for the most part, it is just using my words. And I think that is interesting as well. That said, we now know that you can have it basically go off on tangents. I can tell a ChatGPT or, a Claude from Anthropic or any one of those, hey, write me, a one page whatever on XYZ, and it will basically go to town with that, and then you tweak and you embellish, but 90% of it is the AI. You're just changing a couple of different things to suit your need. I don't think that's the way this should be. So writing AI can be controversial as a result of what I just said. And some writers and artists, myself included for the record, more writer, less artist, stridently oppose the use of large language models that have been trained on the books, websites, and other works written by humans without permission or compensation. I promise you that my articles that I've written, for example, in Forbes are sitting in ChatGPT and other large language models because it's public for the world. So they're training on my original thoughts, my original writing, because again, I'm not using AI. Now, in that view, these tools are devaluing human writing. I would agree with that, and they're also helping to usher a future in which there are far fewer professional opportunities for people to make a living in these kinds of fields, writing, artistry, all that kind of stuff. And short answer is, yeah, we're already seeing local journalism being decimated anyway. That's in part primary to online content through social media. But part of that too is that they're now having AIs write like local high school sports scores because it's definitely cheaper than sending somebody out there to go watch the local high school football game or whatever, or local politics, and on and on and on. And so we're already seeing that in the same way that translators are basically going away in the next couple of years because the artificial intelligence basically platforms out there are so unbelievably good at translating that kind of stuff. So this is a huge, huge thing. And a number of high profile lawsuits have alleged that AI basically has been training on people's art and writing without their knowledge. Look at George R.R. Martin, who wrote Game of Thrones, Sarah Silverman, the comedian, and a whole bunch of others that have been suing to say you cannot use my intellectual property to train something else that can basically rip off of it. And so that is, I think, one of the big issues. Now, one of the benefits that I can think of AI, and is actually mentioned in the article as well, I've mentioned this before, is that non-native English speakers could potentially use a large language model to basically get their thoughts out, in whatever language they know, and then have the AI really put it out there very legibly in English. I mean, we've all seen posts where somebody is trying to write in English, and you can tell it's the person's not, English is not their first language. It'd be like me trying to write Japanese, you know what I mean? Like I could probably go to a translator, I could read books, but I'm going to get stuff wrong, and a native Japanese speaker is going to look at me and like, yeah, this dude is clearly not Japanese, right? So I think that is a benefit. I mean, I think it helps in that sense the world become a whole lot smaller, but this is, I think, overarchingly a longitudinal issue that we have. One of the things I think artificial intelligence should do is take menial tasks away from us, like set my schedule, all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to actual creativity, like writing posts, all that kind of stuff, I think it should be left to the humans. Every day I try to post something amusing, or at least something I find amusing, and some of you sometimes find it amusing with me, on my social media platforms. And while LinkedIn is my favorite, I'm also on all of them, from Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky now, Mastodon, et cetera, and I like that human interaction. And if all of my followers, if you will, were just bots on behalf of humans liking my stuff, it'd be a bit depressing. But that seems to be where we're going, where AI takes these tasks away from us. We should be left to basically have that creativity ourselves. And there are going to be people out there that are not good writers. They never will be good writers, and they need to write things, and I can understand that. But at the same token, there has to be a balance, or there has to be a flag. So if you're posting something on, LinkedIn, wherever it is, there should be a note that says this was AI generated, or 80% of this is AI generated, or whatever it is, to, I think, basically make that known. Obviously, you can talk about stereotypes or stigmas with that, but the point is that I think it's important for us to know that. So I'll leave it at that. I'm not a fan, actually, of this, as I mentioned before, and I hope that LinkedIn kind of reins this in, but they're not, because they would lose competitive share to something else. And so I think this is just the way of the world. And longitudinally, as we're looking at this isn't going away. And quite frankly, it's going to get a lot worse. If it's 54% now, I would put money on it that it'll probably be 70% next year, and I'll be one of the 30% still just banging away on a keyboard. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at Nick AESP, LinkedIn as well, /Nick Espinoza, and YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everybody.